Hello and welcome to RGU Talk, the official podcast of Robert Gordon University. I'm your host Johnny Milne, and we're carrying on our culture theme this week for an extra special episode. It's a real pleasure to have with me both the director and associate director of the Look Again Visual Art and Design Festival. It's Sally Reaper and Hilary Nicoll. Ladies, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to me today.
Hi Johnny, nice to be here.
Hi, how are you doing?
Oh, well, probably a lot less stressed than you are at the moment, I imagine. Well, right off the bat, can you summarise what Look Again is for anyone who hasn't come across it before?
Well, Look Again it's an initiative of RGU. We're just entering our fourth year. And it's a visual art and design festival that you can enjoy at large in Aberdeen over a long weekend in June. And we commission artists and designers from outside the city, but also working with lots and lots of creative talent within the city to create new works of art in public spaces. We occupy empty shops and create new galleries. We put on film programmes, we do workshops, and we just hope that, there'll be something for everyone to get involved in.
And, what can the public expect from this year's festival in particular?
I think from this year's festival, the public will definitely be able to interact in a fun and playful way. All of the public artworks that have been commissioned around the theme of serious play. And we basically asked our artists and designers to respond to that theme and to kind of create public artworks that were interactive, that were playable, that were fun and engaging and inspiring, colourful, a bit bombastic, a bit experimental. So there definitely is something for all ages and for young children. And a lot of the work has been generated by young people, especially in the year that this being the year of young people. It definitely has kind of been it's kind of respond to that.
And is there one project in particular that stands out, one to each of you, as something you're really excited about, you're really excited for the public to see or experience?
I'm going to sort of resist cherry picking actually, because I'm just really excited about the kind of the entirety of it, the way that all the different things fit together. From the sort of larger commissions in big public spaces to much more sort of intimate, smaller exhibitions. And I'm really excited about people meeting each other and connecting with the festival and through the festival. We have a lot of sort of recent graduates from Grays and from RGU involved in it. So for them to sort of meet more sort of people who are perhaps professionally better established and that sort of interaction happening, I think all that's the really exciting kind of behind the scenes stuff that can happen, as well as the audience just having some great fun with some of the different pieces that we have out there.
I think in just exactly what Hilary's saying, it's important not to single one thing out. But what I do think what's important about it is that this is really high-end contemporary art that it's really deep-rooted in a lot of kind of social, kind of political things, but at the same time, it's just aesthetically pleasing. It's, like on the surface of it, you can just engage with it in a very kind of spectacle way. There's an immediate reception to the work. And I think that's what's really exciting about the festival for us, that, there is all these internationally acclaimed artists here, but it's very much deep-rooted, and we're celebrating all levels of artistic practice, from recent graduates right through to highly established practitioners.
And where can people go to find all this amazing work going on when it's on display?
It's right in the heart of the city centre. That's the whole thing about seeing the city through fresh eyes. We try to celebrate the kind of cultural assets and the kind of history and heritage of the city. So like animating public space like Marshall College Quad, which is an incredible historical site that's kind of hidden away and it doesn't feel accessible. So we try to make it feel accessible through the festival by citing public artworks there. The Castlegate is another area for us that over the years we've been able to animate it and bring it to life and change perception of an area that sometimes is deemed a bit unattractive. So Marshall College, Quad, Marshall Square, Broad Street, Castlegate, Street, the rooftop gardens, St Andrews Street, George Street, and so forth.
Yeah, we're sort of moving beyond the sort of immediate city centre this year, so we're kind of busting right through up to the end of George Street. We've got a really, really fantastic piece of work by a designer called Super Mundane. It's going to be a new wall piece by him, and we're really excited about it. And it's, slightly out of the way. It's at Catherine Street Community Centre, right next to the Cruyff Court. But we like the idea of creating a trail to take people right up there, and via St Andrews Street, where we've got 3 spaces that have been vacant, and we're filling them up with exhibitions. So
we're creating a street of art, which is really exciting for us. And the thought of that maybe potentially that could be an art street in the future that is made up of kind of independent spaces. So we're bringing potential to sites, I guess, that sometimes people don't see the potential, and I think that's what Luke again has been really successful in is kind of highlighting the potential of sites that are deemed less popular in the city.
And I think one of the great things for me personally about the festival this year is obviously you mentioned Marshall Quad, and I know there'll be things going on outside Marshall as well. And if it's a nice sunny day, we can always plug the fact that because of the festival, Mackey's are launching a new ice cream flavour. I mean, you got to tell us more about that and how that came about.
Okay, well, we've commissioned a really interesting artist called James Wrigler. And he does a lot of work in response to architecture. So when he came to look at Aberdeen, he was very drawn to Marshall Quad and the amazing Gothic architecture that's all around it. And he's done a lot of research into Gothic architecture, different kinds of Gothic. There's something called Carpenter Gothic that you might see in the American prairies. There's the Gothic sort of spires that surround the quad, and they've been likened to a forest of trees. So he's kind of thinking about Marshall Quad as a kind of clearing in the forest, and that brings in ideas of fairy stories and witches' huts and trails through the forest, and he wants to just bring a bit of joy to that slightly austere, grey, granity kind of square. And so what he's done is he's going to create a beautifully popping coloured kind of pavilion that might make you think of a gingerbread house, and what he said he'd love to do is to serve ice cream from it. So we said, right, we've got to make that happen. So we've managed to work with Mackey's, and Sally's been having a brilliant discussion with them, and they've produced a new gingerbread flavoured ice cream called The House in the Woods, same title as the work. I
mean, I think for us, we're excited about that kind of going out to potential sponsors. It's not always about getting money, we do need money as a festival. It's really important for us as a festival, but sometimes it's just really important to for an artist to have an idea and for us to be able to go out and actually realise it for them. And I think we were, just blown away by Mackey's kind of response. They were just so up for it. This was it was our idea. We came up with the gingerbread ice cream, and and they were like, yeah, we can do that. And and obviously we've had the pleasure of tasting it, and we can definitely tell you it is worth a visit to get a scoop of that gingerbread ice cream.
So there'll be quite a lot of ice cream, but you've got to get there early to get it. It may run out each day. But there's free ice cream in Marshall Quad. I
remember I was there obviously when you got to taste it, and I'm staring at it going, it's so tempting, but
you're being good.
I was being
you
good.
were being very good, Johnny. Yeah,
it wasn't for myself, it was all for the public to get more of it. Now, Aberdeen and the North East has obviously been fortunate to host a number of great art festivals in recent times. There's New Art, there's Spectra lighting up the city as well, pun very much intended. What is it you feel sets Look Again apart?
Well, we're really very much about people and place. So we're based in Aberdeen, we're based at the university, and we kind of work here year round. So, while we think it's fantastic that we get this amazing sort of work coming in from, other places, we really want to sort of counterbalance that by sort of working with talent in the North East and really showing that we have the sort of the capacity and the skill and the vision to sort of put really excellent visual art festivals together from within the city and involve lots and lots of the creative talent here to do that. So we're very committed to sort of the Aberdeen as a place and working with the sort of creative community here and really building it and investing in that ongoing.
Yeah, I think from when we started the festival back in 2015, it became really clear to us that there was a problem around retaining creative talent in the North East, and attracting talent back to the North East, and also there was a big thing around skills skills gaps within the kind of artistic community. We didn't have those artists that were based here that had those kind of portfolio careers, that were doing kind of gallery installations and so forth. So we made it kind of our kind of mantra, our ambition, to ensure that we were able to develop the kind of I guess lead the development of the cultural sector, in the sense that we were able to put on like micro residency programs. We were able to do kind of production and like installation. So like we really wanted to, it wasn't just a festival for festival's sake. We really wanted to embed ourselves in that kind of, in that community where we were able to upskill and to professionally develop these individuals and to take them on the kind of journey that we were on. And I think we've managed to do that over the last 3 years.
Looking at that bigger picture, so how would you say the city really does benefit from the festival feeding into that creative economy here in Aberdeen?
Well, I think any city that is really attractive has a real kind of buzz about it, and it has a lot going on, and it has a sense that there's sort of entrepreneurial and creative and interesting people doing interesting stuff at a grassroots level sort of all year round. Yeah. So I think we really want to get to a place where we can say that Aberdeen is that place by having creative talent, designers, artists, other people setting stuff up, running stuff under their own steam, artist-led stuff, design collectives, that kind of thing, choosing actively to stay in the city, because we do have this sort of narrative of people leaving and going off to Edinburgh, Glasgow and setting stuff up there. So can we turn that round? Please, let's have them stay here, because it's a good place to stay and work. And in a way, there's so much up for grabs in Aberdeen. There's loads of opportunity now, and there's a lot of joined up thinking. All the different organisations working in partnership. There's a new cultural strategy to get behind. So it's sort of a really brilliant time to sort of begin to look at Aberdeen in a really different kind of way.
I mean, I think it was interesting. I was talking to some students yesterday, and they said that Look Again had really made a difference to their kind of student journey. Just the fact that, the art gallery has been closed for 4 years, the kind of 4 years that they've been studying here at RGU, and just to have had Look Again as that kind of big kind of showcase, that big kind of celebration of contemporary visual art and design really was really important for them. It kind of gave them something to look forward to. It inspired them, it excited them. And I think from our point of view, like the Look and Learn project, which was a kind of partnership project we did with the creative learning team, which was about mentorship, which was about looking into kind of participatory kind of art, working in participatory settings, that born a collective called Stack, and that was a young collective that kind of brought together different practitioners working in different disciplines, but they've kind of stayed in the city, they've worked together in the city, they've worked across different festivals, different projects, they've instigated, they've kind of activated, they've facilitated their own workshops with young people, and it built confidence. And I think that's, for me, is what I've seen as a difference in the confidence in these young practitioners, and the fact that they want to stay, because they didn't want to stay before, but they actually, there is a buzz in the city, there is a lot more things going on, and there's a lot more opportunities, and a lot of them are being actually set in place by themselves. They're taking that opportunities on individually.
I do worry, because I think confidence is a thing here, and I do worry that there's something about, importing all our art through, festivals that arrive in the city and then disappear again. I think I worry that tells people here that they're not good enough in a funny kind of way. Okay. Because it sets up this idea that, good art only exists out there. It doesn't kind of emerge through the city in a sort of natural way as it should. So I think that's something that we kind of, we kind of kick around and we question, and we think about how we can kind of, change that dynamic a little bit.
And I think the way that we've probably tried to change that is by ensuring that each festival we've had micro residency programs where we've engaged young practitioners at very early stages in their career to work with professionals to build that confidence and to build their capacity essentially in the work that they deliver.
I mean, I think we're really, really proud this year that we can say we have 120 creative practitioners from the North East involved in our various projects. So we have groups of 6 emerging artists, we have groups of designers, we have other collectives, we have a group of dancers working with an established artist. So, when I totted it all up, I was really amazed to see that, 120 people genuinely sort of living, working, connected to this area, all involved in the sort of machinery behind the festival. And I think that's a really, something to be really shouting loud about.
Yeah, it's really powerful.
She said very quietly.
The festival you mentioned, obviously the festival, you're based here at RGU, and it obviously has roots and very close links with Gray's School of Art. How important is that connection when it comes to nurturing the local artistic talent?
So the connection with Gray's is absolutely fundamental, I think, to what we're doing. There are 5 art schools in Scotland. Gray's is one of the most well established. It has an incredible history of producing really high quality graduates, and I think the connection is about how Gray's develops a kind of stronger relationship with the city. It's about how Gray's can create pathways for its graduates. So new people coming into the art school from perhaps different backgrounds, people emerging from the art school who have different perspectives and have more confidence and sort of more vision about staying around, or people can go away, that's fine, but attracting people back is really important. So Gray's is it's an incredible sort of hub of learning and knowledge and skill, and so as we've progressed over the sort of past 3 years, I think that the relationship with Gray's has only strengthened, and I think we're important to Gray's, and Gray's is really important to us. And this year the festival is incorporating the degree show. We thought it would be a fantastic weekend to show our festival while the degree show's on, so there's even more to kind of see and do in the city. So
I think, and also as well, I think over the last few years, lots of Gray's students have benefited by coming on our kind of our traineeships, and they've kind of in terms of just through their volunteering, lots of them have come on as kind of our cultural ambassadors, our kind of voice for the festival. So that's been a really exciting and an important kind of pathway development for students. Some have worked on kind of skills and developing their skills for installation and production, so they've developed another kind of arm to their bow, I guess. Essentially, they're building that kind of portfolio career that we talk about, which artists seem to survive on, and we all survive on that. So I think Gray's, it's really important that we're embedded much more in Gray's, and Gray's are benefiting as well from the festival, as well as being part of the degree show. But yeah, we definitely are impacting on the kind of student journey and the student ambition.
And finally, obviously, over the few years the festival has been running so far, what would you say the top 5 things about running the Look Again festival are?
It's exciting.
There is never a dull moment.
It's hard to say, but I mean, I think I feel very privileged that we have this incredible opportunity to kind of celebrate the Northeast, and to celebrate the creative talent that we have here in the Northeast. And I love the fact that we're able to bring people here from other places and to kind of open up their eyes to how actually cool Aberdeen is. I love Aberdeen. I love that I come from Aberdeen, and I love that it's got so much to offer. And we've learned, I think what I've loved about the festival is that I've learned all this amazing stories about the Northeast that I didn't know about, and we've been able to kind of use artists to respond to these stories in a kind of contemporary way and present it back to the public, and it's got the public to be curious. And I think for me, that's one of the biggest high points, is that it's got people to be curious about Aberdeen and to talk and have conversations and have a dialogue in a much more positive way.
Mm-hmm. That was top 10.
I know, I'm really sorry. I was going to give you a list of loads of stuff. I've got loads of stuff, but I thought...
Well, you've still got at least 2. You still got at least 2 points.
Two points. Okay. Well, I think a highlight for me was because I kind of wasn't involved so much in the first year. So actually going around the first year and seeing what Smart Art Agency, which is Sally and Claire, had done working with RGU in year 1, the kind of audacity of their vision to kind of commission artists and designers to create ways of dressing up the civic statues in Aberdeen. Really kind of in your face. It's public sculpture. It's stuff that people walk past every day. But somehow this project made people stand up and notice stuff within Aberdeen that they would never usually blink an eye at. So, I thought there was a kind of real audacity and kind of bravery in the vision there, and I thought that was really impressive. So I think that made me very interested in it as a project.
Mm. I mean, I think another thing I think about is I think we do actually provide the best stage in which creative practitioners are able to perform. Like I do think that that we're very generous in the way that we commission, and I think we're very generous in the way that we support. And I think, like, you know, we've had incredible feedback from practitioners that have said that, you know, the best project that they worked on is Look Again, and I feel really proud of the fact that we actually do really realise things, like, you know, take away a lot of the stresses that artists have to deal with, because obviously working in the public realm there is a lot of things that people don't see, that the challenges that we face on a day-to-day basis, but we kind of protect the artists so that they actually can produce the best work possible.
Yes, they don't have to do a wind management plan.
They certainly don't, but I
Sally
do.
does the wind management planning. Who knew that such a thing existed?
Oh, you've got to take all of this into account.
Yes.
So just to confirm for everyone, the dates of this year's Look Again Festival are the 14th to the 17th of June. You've heard where to go to see it. You've had a bit of a hint about some of the things you can see when you go there. So personally, I look forward to seeing it. I look forward to seeing everyone there. On that, Sally, Hilary, thank you so much for taking the time to out of your incredibly packed schedule at the moment.
Thanks very much for having us.
Thank you.
Good.
And that's it for another episode of RGU Talk. On behalf of the university, I'm Johnny Milne, and we'll talk to you later.